So good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and I'm a gorilla in the wrist. This video is really the consequence of a question that one of our viewers posed to me when we did the San Martin Black Friday video. And his question was, so would you recommend one of these or a Kamasu red? It's beauty here. Which is a really interesting question, and so we're going to do, this isn't going to be a really long video, but we're going to just take the next 5 to 7 minutes of your time just to talk about whether or not you should go with an Orient Kamasu or something like a San Martin. Stay with me, we're going to get right into it. So very quickly, we're going to run through the specifications. There's a dial size of 40.5, the lug to lug is 45mm, lug width is 22 and it weighs in on 160 grams on the supplied bracelet. It's 13mm thick, the water resistance is 200 meters, it has the F6922 movement and is yours for the bargain price of under $200. And then on the question of the lume, yes, it has lume. It has very good lume. So the lume on this watch is excellent. I picked it up at 7 o'clock in the morning a couple of days ago just to check the time, and it was still visible at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I have no doubt about this watch's lume credentials, and neither should you. So when it comes to gripes and moans about this watch, I think I have a few, and I don't think they're unreasonable, or I'm pretty sure they're not uncommon. I think sure other people have made the same comments. And please note white gloves. If you think Gorilla's putting white gloves on is funny, then I'll do a separate video of that one. But I think the negatives, most of the negatives are actually about the bracelet itself. So it is a fairly standard 3-link oyster bracelet. Can see in there it's hollow end links, a bit cheap and nasty, and the clasp, whilst it is properly branded, it's just a cheap press clasp, and I have to complain because guess what, it didn't fit this particular gorilla, and not only did it not fit this particular gorilla, I had to get an ugly unsightly extension on it, because you simply can't get extra links. And when I compare that to offerings from San Martin, the last San Martin I bought, I asked them specifically to put extra links in, and they were happy to do that. And therefore, you have one happy gorilla. The other failing, I think, on this particular watch is the crown. I should bring it up a bit closer. The crown on this is really small, which wouldn't be a problem if it was a proper old-fashioned diver and didn't have crown guards. But because it has crown guards, it is a little bit filler. I mean, you can do it. And I would imagine people with less sausage-like fingers with me can do it quite easily. But for me, that is a real problem on it. And in terms of the positives for this watch, I think what I would say is that what you get with the Kamasu is a big brand, a big name dive watch for a very, very reasonable price. You can get these very comfortably for less than $200. It's a beautiful dial colour. I mean, I picked this red specifically, but it is spectacular, and with the right strap, it looks really good with the dark leather strap. You'll have seen that in some of the previous shots. The layout is a bit of a classic as well, I think. So I like this sort of big triangle and then slightly larger batons at 6 and 9. The nicely framed day date window, and I love the logo. The logo is very, very classy. It's not a size that drowns it. It's drowned in the dial, but it has that real look to it. I also like things like the little nick in the back of the hour hand. I think is just really good. I mean, there isn't very much about the dial that I don't like. I think this will become a modern classic. As you will have seen from the previous bit, the Lume is very good. It has very strong water resistance, 200 meters, so you can pretty much do whatever you want with this. And it comes with a sapphire crystal, a good quality flat sapphire crystal. Again, unusual at this price point for such a big brand with heritage. And that for me is the final part of this, is that actually what you're buying here is a bit of heritage. The Orient movement in the watch itself, the F6922, is excellent, really good, and is the sort of in-house version of the YN55. Again, very, very solid and reliable, and very easygoing. It just looks the business. I struggle sometimes with reviews because what's blindingly obvious to me won't be blindingly obvious, and everybody's tastes are different. But it is a gorgeous watch to look at, to wear, even more so if you take it off the bracelet. As I say, the bracelet itself is okay, but it's a fairly standard 3-link oyster, badly let down by a poor clasp and hollow end links, which just always to me comes across as cheap. I think I appreciate that in this particular instance, you're getting a big brand diver who was trying to make it affordable. So I get all of that. But I would fairly quickly get it off this bracelet and on something better, much better. And so really, finally, to sum up, I guess I need to answer the question that Al B asked me, which was, should I buy the red Kamasu, or should I buy a San Martin watch, particularly the ones that were identified in the previous video. For me, I think the Kamasu is a fantastic watch. I mean, absolutely top-notch. I've had a bit of a whinge about some elements, but those are easily fixed. And beside that, it looks spectacularly good. The catching of the light and the colour, and I know it comes in other colourways as well, but it is just a gorgeous watch. It wears beautifully. It's difficult not to recommend it. And the comparison to San Martin watches, well, I think San Martin is coming up very closely on the rails. I would suggest that it won't be long in terms of quality, and certainly the finishing on San Martin watches is as good as it is made out to be. But I don't think the brand itself has the heritage yet to be able to say that I would pick one of those over the Orient Kamasu. However, if you can afford both, and they are both affordable watches, if you were building a watch collection, this would be my dive watch, and one of the pilot watches that I've done before would almost certainly be my field stroke pilot watch. I think they make a pretty decent 2-watch collection. This watch itself, the Orient itself, is a pretty much go anywhere, do anything. I've worn it to work, so I've worn it under a sleeve without too many problems. It's not particularly thick. And it is a joy to wear, but Orient, you really do need to keep your wits about us, because the San Martin boys are coming up very fast on your tail. I hope that answers the question. I know that Al B told me that he did go and buy a Kamasu, so good choice. It's a fantastic watch. I hope at some point you get around to owning one of the San Martins that I've reviewed, because they are great too. Other than that, all there is really to say thank you for seeing this through to the end. If you stuck through to the end, please like and subscribe. If you don't like the video, or you think you'd like me to do something differently, please tell me. I would love to know. I enjoy making these videos. It'd be good if I can make sure that you're enjoying them too. Other than that, wish you a fantastic day, and I'll see you again for the next video. Take care.